Our final speaker is Dr. Souza Richards from ISF, and Rose is going to give us an overview of the ISF Regulated Pest Database. Thank you, Rose. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Rick.
Sorry,
nice sharing.
You have to stop sharing your screen first.
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay.
Let me get there.
We're running a little late on time. Rose is great. She's agreed to go past our 12:30 deadline Eastern time. So for those of you that can stay on, I think you'll get a lot out of Rose's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody can see my presentation now. So thank you so much, Rick. So yes. My name is Souza Richards, and I am the ISF Seed Health Manager. And thank you so much for the invitation for me to come here to talk about the ISF Regulated Pest List. So the ISF Regulated Pest List initiative, because it's an initiative that's coming from the seed industry, especially from the vegetable seeded companies, is to develop crop-specific pest lists for seed, where the species are regulated and they are traded internationally. So we are very specific what we're looking at. We're not looking at all different types of pests which are associated with seeds. We are talking about the pests which are regulated and are regulated on the seed. The aim of this initiative is to establish meaningful, science-based, and relevant crop-specific pest lists, and with that, utilize this as a source of information to facilitate the harmonization of phytosanitary requirements. I believe that Dara has already mentioned this before, so this is just a reinforcing that this is the message of this initiative. The list provides information on where the seed is a proven pathway, so we classify this exactly the same way as Dara mentioned. Yes, seed is a pathway not proven. No, seed is not a pathway, or that specific species seed is not, the pest is not, the seed species is not a host for that particular pest. What we wanted to do with this, we wanted to use this information, and we have been using this information to allow the reducing of the number of existing regulated pests that are not technically or scientifically justified. I'm afraid to say that nowadays we find this is a much more common event where we see more and more pests as being added on the regulation where seed it is really not the pathway. The ISF Secretariat has already done a little bit of an exercise where we have noted that out of over the 1,000 pests that is already on this database, 77%, almost 80%, and if we're going to do a much more further analysis, I would say 80% those has a conclusion that either the crop is not a host for the pest in question or seed is not a pathway. This is really serious, you know, because it means that there are only a very small percentage of the regulated pests that we have at the moment for seeds are really seed as a pathway. This initiative, which means this database, has a long history of development dating back to 2007. There is lots of information that the NPPO used, but unfortunately, it's not based on scientifically sound information. We wanted to provide from the information through this database, information that is justified if there is need for a regulation for a specific pest, for a specific crop. It was the development of this pest list it was born out of the need to have meaningful information on the risk of seed as the means for movements of pathogens. The ISF Regulated Pest List database is an important resource for the different national seed associations, of course, of the seed industry as well. And as I said before, to support the engagement with the NPPOs when new or updated phytosanitary requirements are proposed. The database also serves as a base for the development of seed health tests. We have the twin initiative, which is the ISVEG, and that is exactly what we use information from the pest list to be able to develop which will be the seed health test that we needed to work on. Currently, the regulated pest list database contains 13 lists, which together accounts for over 90% of the vegetable seed trade internationally. And there is information on this database if the pest is regulated. And the way that we collect this information, what I'm trying to say is that we collect by using the National Import Requirements database that the companies have, but also from the NPPOs. So it's a combination of sources that we use to be able to build all these pests that it comes with the list. The pests that we have, the regulated pests that are listed on the ISF pest list, it is from two categories: regulated quarantine pests and regulated non-quarantine pests. And we use the definition from ISPM 5, an international standard phytosanitary measures number 5, was say that for the case of the quarantine pests, as we know, they are pests that are not present in the country, or present but not widely distributed with a potential of economic importance. We have the regulated non-quarantine, which according to ISPM 5 is they are already present, can be widespread, but they're present in plants or planting of seeds, combined with the intended use leads to an acceptable economic impact. So the word economic importance or economic impact is key to differentiate the regulated quarantine pests to the regulated non-quarantine pests. The assessment that we do for this pests, we follow the principles of the international standards for phytosanitary measures guidelines, but it is rooted based on the scientific evidence and, of course, the industry experience. The potential for a specific pest to establish and spread is assessed, and we also provide recommendations taking into consideration the biological and epidemiological characteristics, and of course, the risk management practice put in practice by the seed industry. So this is all the information that we provide, and we do it during the time of assessment. Information on the detection methods is also provided on the pest list, and risk mitigation measures are also provided, especially the case of the seed is a known pathway or pathway is not proven. And of course, we do provide a link as well with the testing protocols developed by the ISF initiative. We are at the moment currently revising this database to make sure that we have a perfect alignment of all the current protocols that it is developed by the ISF initiative, and that all of them are included on the pest list. We have already this year issued a new crop pest list. So we have eggplant, which has 75 pests, and that was uploaded already on the website on May this year. And now we're just finishing the maize pest list, which will be added to the website, hopefully now in the end of September. And that means over 230 pests that will be added to the pest list. We already have over 1,000, so this is really good, which means we are more and more adding more crop pest lists. And now that the initiative has got new resources, I would like to see this going in much faster pace. Currently, we have 30 pest lists on the database, and you can see in the last one was eggplant, and we come into the 14, which will be maize, and we will be working more. We're adding more new pest lists for the next year. We have recently done a survey with all the ISF members to try to understand what will be the needs in terms of the pest list. I can tell you, based on the results, we have that the database as it is doing very well. So actually, we do not need to do a huge revamp or shape it up of the whole website, but we do have 3 suggestions, which it is to add a new crop. We are already in the process, so we have already added eggplant. We're going to be adding maize very soon, but we also have already started works on peas and okras, which will be added to the website hopefully in the beginning of 2022. We were adding new pests. That was a second suggestion. We have already added recently tomato leaf curl New Delhi virus, Kayuri green mottle mosaic virus as well, and we have done a review of the tomato brown rugose fruit virus. So we are working now with the resources that we needed so desperate for a long time. We are accelerating the pace of adding more and more information to the website, and of course keeping the content up to date. So we are already doing this. We have already systems in place that every 5 years will be reviewing all these pests lists, and the first one that will be revised, and we starting now already asking for volunteers, it will be the tomato pest list. We will need to add more than 90 different pests to that specific crop pest list. We'll be revising that taxonomy, and we'll be revising as well the different methods of detection. So a lot of work and a lot of good things coming up from this database. This is how the database looks like. And now I would like to stop sharing this presentation and hopefully be able to work on sharing the website in itself. And so I'll be able to show you how the website looks like. So I hope everybody can see. Still, Rick, tell me if not. So this is how the website looks like. So the ISF Regulated Pest List, you can come here and you can see that there is all the different species. You can also, there is a drop down and you can go through all the different species that there is here. Second column, we have all of them is the common name. So here we have the taxonomic name and here you have the common name. You can also do your search like this. So if you go to carrot, You're going to have all the different pests just for the carrot pest, for the carrot crop list. Another way you can research is by the scientific name of the pest. If I wanted something like, let's go for tomato, and it will give you a list of all the different ones. So this is another way that you can search, you can find information that you need. If you are not sure of which crop it is, or if you wanted to look just about this specific species, and of course, it will go through all the different crop species where this pathogen is present and has been assessed. More information about the pest, we have additional information. Sometimes we use common names, but for the complementary information, it's important that I highlighted that we add synonyms. This is specific important when we come to the case of fungi, and sometimes we add teleomorph, which will be the sexual stage of the fungi. So this kind of information we also included here, and also we differentiate of the different types of microorganisms. So we have increased this, we have separated the phytoplasms because of course it is not just, we wanted to make separated from bacteria because it's not really a bacteria, it's a protobacteria. So we have separated everything, and so it makes much more easy, which means that you can search using this way as well. Another thing that we provide on the website, so the first one is the pests, afterwards is the pest classification. This is incredibly important when it comes for the activities that we do, especially from the Phytosanitary Committee, when we're trying to understand better if certain pathogens requires a regulation in the air. So what we do is have the question, is see the pathway for this crop? And just like it was already mentioned before, it is divided on these categories. Yes, see there's a known pathway, pathway not proven. And in this case is when there is no certainty. There is doubts in the first, the evidence has not been verified or proved, or the evidence is limited or doubt, or the evidence is conflicted. So under these three categories, this pathway not proven. We have no references found, and is not known within the industry. Not a host, or yes, but crop is not a host. So we do have all this classification, and that help afterwards in terms of advocacy. We have all the references listed here, and as soon as you hover your mouse on top, it shows exactly the type of reference it is. You can get all the references by going here on the top, which say list of references by crop, or list of reference by pest type. And we do have the remarks. So this is the remarks which provide a little bit more information why we believe that in this case, we say that seed is not a pathway for Coleoptera cicinans in allium, cipa, onion. Then we provide some extra information, and of course we highlight that available information indicates that there is no scientific basis for regulation of this pathogen in onion seed. And that's the kind of information that we use to be able to provide information and data back to the NPPOs on our advocacy pieces. Other information that we do have on the website is detection and risk mitigation. And all this information is provided if there is available information, we do provide that here on the database. You can see that doesn't happen for all the pests, but we do have for some pests that we do provide the necessary information. If you see here in the case of Coleoptera, I hope everybody can see, we do have information if there is a seed test, or if there is not, we mention which kind of treatment and some extra information. Another thing as well that Dara has mentioned, and I want to highlight here, is it's very important that we have feedback. So you can report an error, you can report your feedback by clicking on the little arrow in the end of that row. That will bring here where it goes, and you can add your comments, your personal date, and this will come straight to me. And then we evaluate that, and we can always go back and provide the extra information. Or as you know, because the information is live, every day there is new evidence, new scientific information. We needed to make sure that this database, it is updated accordingly. But as you know, everything changed very fast. So I'm not going to say that we do an update daily, but we try to maintain the database as updated as possible and with as much information as possible. Another thing that I would just like to say, this database, it is freely available on the ISF website. And before you reach, you can find like this. You just need to click and go to the database, you arrive there, but we provide a little bit of information here in the beginning. The important thing to say is we are already in the process of updating and revise this page, and also the database. We hopefully will be able to provide much more information going forward. And I think I have already covered everything I would like to say, and I just would like to say thank you, everybody, and I'm so sorry that we are so late. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose. Really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions after the session, you think about it, please feel free to either email myself or Lainey, and we can make sure that your questions get answered. We'll forward those to the speakers that are appropriate, and we'll get you what you need. But please take the time to get into these different databases, take a look around in them. Again, we do welcome your feedback. We want to make them as relevant as possible. So with that, I think we'll conclude the session today. Thank you all very much for your participation. Take care.